What's good, YouTube? Are you a third-rate duelist looking for a fourth-rate deck? Then this is the deck for you. Today I bring you my Maliss Fiendsmith deck profile. Arguably the best deck in this, I guess you can call it a format between Ban List and Alliance Insight. If you've gone against this deck, then you know what this deck can do. Maliss in general is still pretty strong. Definitely a lot less consistent. However, when you add in the Fiendsmith package, there's not many other decks I would even consider on the same tier as this deck. If I was doing a tier list, this would definitely be the only deck in its own class. Because with the ban list, Maliss did lose a few consistency cards. However, when you do add the Fiendsmith package, it pretty much replaces them and then some, giving it a different power level and a higher ceiling than Maliss originally had. Again, however, this is only until Alliance Insight comes out, and then I do feel that the Adagnister package is stronger than the Fiendsmith stuff. I am also going to be hoping to purchase the cards this weekend, hopefully from a local seller, and by local I mean within an hour or so away. That way I can hopefully get them within a couple days. With that in mind, let's just go straight into the deck profile. So with the Fiendsmith package, we have 3 Fiendsmith engravers, 1 Lori, 1 Lacrima, 1 Tract, and 1 Paradise. You can play more than 1 Tract. I feel like 1 is definitely good enough. It's okay. The card is definitely overpriced at the moment, so I'm not really trying to buy a second or a third one. I feel like 3 is definitely too much. 2 is probably the perfect amount, I would think. Again, with the Adagnister stuff coming out, I feel like that is going to be the best way to play the deck pure. And if you are going to be running a Fiendsmith package, having 1 Tract is definitely fine. And again, it does give you 4 additional 1-card starters, just making the deck a lot more consistent and just improving the ceiling of the deck as well. Then we have the typical Maliss stuff, 2 Dormouse, 2 White Rabbit. Still running 3 Chesty Cat. Not sure exactly if that's the correct ratio. I feel like you could get away with 2. Then we have 2 Malice Underground, Terraforming, then the 3 trap cards. Pretty typical stuff. None of this is really changing. When we do get the new Adagnister stuff, I feel like obviously Dot Skipper's gonna come out. Easily 1 Chesty Cat's gonna come out, and then possibly even 2. I'm gonna play around with the ratios a bit, but again, this is, if you aren't interested in getting any of the Alliance Insight stuff, the deck is still definitely serviceable after Alliance Insight if you kept it as is. With the new cards, probably going to be around $200 for the whole package. Then we have some of the consistency cards. We are running still 3 buy still cards. With the Fiendsmith stuff, they're still very powerful. They're great extenders. However, you don't need the full package of 3 Baldrakes. Then again, consistency. Got to run these cards. Then 1 Gold Sark and 1 Allure of Darkness. Still running a bunch of darks. Don't really want to draw into a second copy. If we get Allure, obviously it's good. If we don't get it, it's fine. Having 1 of is definitely good enough. And then Crossout Designator, Pot of Prosperity, Called by the Grave, Triple Attack in case you get hand trapped, which you more than likely will get hand trapped. They're just good cards to have in the deck. Then we have the hand traps. With having a bunch of 1-card starters, we are able to also have a lot of hand traps. I'm not even counting the buy steals. We're running a full package of Fualos, Drone Lockbird, and then 2 Nibs and 2 Ash Blossoms. If you don't want to run the Fualo, so if you don't want to purchase it, you can just get a 3rd copy of Nib, 3rd copy of Ash. But again, you just want as many strong, high impact hand traps as you can. And Fualos can pretty much end turns by himself. Droll is definitely going to be one of the best cards going into the next format. I feel like you're going to be wanting 3 Drolls in every deck just because it does hurt Maliss, but not as much as it hurts Mitsurugi, which I feel like, again, not making a tier list, but if I was making a tier list, I feel it's going to be Adagnister, Maliss cards, number 1, and then possibly the Maliss Fiendsmith tied with Mitsurugi Ryzeal for number 2. That deck is pretty scary, honestly. Maliss creates some pretty scary boards, but I feel like the Mitsurugi stuff is definitely scarier. However, it is more brickier as well. Then to go into the extra deck, we have typical Maliss stuff, the 3 usual cards, extenders, still have access code, of course, because it's too strong. Still running the Firewall. Then we have the Fiendsmith cards. The only one I would say is possibly replaceable in this is maybe either Firewall or IP Masquerena if you did want to run something else. Even Splash Mage, because Splash Mage does lock you into Cyber's cards, you can't really go into the Fiendsmith stuff after using it. So again, this is far from a perfect ratio. However, this is what I have so far. We'll be making some more additions and adjustments going into the next format. I feel like with Alliance Insight coming out, a lot of things definitely are going to be changing with Maliss in general, not just getting the Adagnister stuff. However, the format will bring in new challengers, and I feel like one of the things that is also changing is going to be Ryzeal. I know a lot of the decks last format were pretty much citing for Ryzeal, citing for pure Maliss. Obviously, cards like Artifact Lancia, Chaos Hunter were heavily sideboarded last format. They're definitely going to want to be, again, sideboarded with Maliss being the #1 deck. I feel like every deck is going to be running 3 Artifact Lancias and 3 Chaos Hunters in their side deck, just because you want to try and stop Maliss as much as you can. And then even the Kashtira cards, I feel like I'm going to be implementing cash cards into a lot of my decks, including Maliss. But I feel like Kashtira Blue Eyes is something I'm going to be experimenting. Hopefully try and get that profile out next week, because if you can get rid of their white binder and then possibly another card with Unicorn, I feel like that's going to be one of the best ways to stop Maliss in the next format, post Alliance Insight. Just because with the new Ad Ignister cards, I feel like having Artifact Lancia isn't really the turn-ending card it was with the pure Maliss build. The Ad Ignister cards do allow Maliss to push through, not being able to banish. You can still end on multiple negates. So having cards like Unicorn being able to go into your extra deck and ripping cards like White Binder, I feel like is going to be one of the best ways. If anything, even just sideboarding a little cash engine, just something I'm thinking of, something I'm going to be experimenting with the next format and post-Alliance Insight stuff coming up. Even the Mitsurugi stuff. I feel like obviously Mitsurugi Raizio is going to be one of the biggest threats to Maliss. And Maliss is probably going to be the #1 deck I'm going to be playing, along with obviously the Blue Eye stuff that you guys kind of know me for. Primite, definitely going to still be a top 5 deck. I feel like Primite stuff and the Blue Eye stuff, I feel like definitely still going to be top 5. However, I feel the ceilings of Maliss and then Mitsurugi Raizio are just so much higher, though. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be an uphill battle for sure with the Blue Eye stuff. But hopefully we'll see. With sideboard patterns, I feel like you can definitely try and even the playing field. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of my thoughts with Alliance Insight coming up. It is probably one of the most anticipated packs, most anticipated cards since I've come back into Yu-Gi-Oh! That I've been looking forward to. I'm definitely going to try and get as many Alliance Insight cards as possible. But with that in mind, I think that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys want to see a combo video for this specific deck, let me know. I'll try and get one up. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. I'll catch you guys in the next video.